SwimOutlet.com delivers the best online shopping experience. With an extensive selection and the lowest prices, you're guaranteed to find the product you need. Here's what you get. Free shipping on all orders over $49. Free 1 to 2 day shipping on all orders over $99. All orders placed by 6 p.m. ship out the same day. Shop at SwimOutlet.com, the web's most popular swim shop.
This is the Morning Swim Show for Wednesday, June 20th, 2012. I'm your host, Jeff Cummings. Today in the Phoenix Monitor, we'll be talking to Alexandra Paul. You may recognize that name mostly from her work on the hit TV show Baywatch, but over the years she's been adding open water swimmer to her list of accomplishments. On Saturday, she'll be in South Florida racing in the annual Swim Around Key West, a 12-mile swim that attracts many accomplished swimmers. And Alexandra joins us right now in the Phoenix Monitor from her home. Alexandra, welcome to the Morning Swim Show. How are you?
Thanks so much. I'm happy to be here.
And tell us exactly where your home is.
I live in Los Angeles, California.
Okay, so you'll be flying all the way across the country for this big Key West swim later this week. Tell us what drew you to the swim.
Well, I'm excited to swim in Key West because the water's so beautiful, and I have done several longer swims. I mean, it's all relative, right? Because some people in this swim will be training for 30-mile swims, and this swim will just be a really easy training day for them. But for me, I like swimming without a wetsuit and in clear water. So I've always chosen warm water swims to do longer. I swim in the Fiji swim, which is an 11-mile swim between two islands a couple of years ago. Before that, did the Maui Channel swim, and a swim in Bonaire, which was just 6 miles. So they're progressively getting longer, and Key West was a little longer. It's 12.5 miles, so it was longer than my Fiji swim a couple of years ago. So
how do you get prepared for this? Tell me what your training's like for a 12.5-mile swim.
Well, for me, it's sort of analogous to a marathon, how you train for a marathon, which is what I used to do before I started swimming, but I had knee surgery. So I like the long, slow distances. So basically, I swim every other day. I cannot swim every day because I have to protect my shoulders, which are not great. So I swim every other day, and during the week, it's shorter swims. They start off an hour, go to 2 or 3 hours. And then the weekends, they get progressively longer towards the end. But my longest swim was a 5-hour swim in the pool. I chose not to do any ocean swims because I didn't want to wear a wetsuit, which binds my shoulders. So I'm very protective. And doing intervals during the week, during those shorter swims is good too. I have, once again, because of my shoulders, I basically do the longer, slower distances, and I don't do a lot of intervals because it does stress them.
So it's safe to say that we'll never see you doing like a 50 freestyle at a swim meet or anything like that?
No, you will not. In fact, even before my shoulders were a problem, you wouldn't have seen me do that. I've always been sort of the, I prefer just to, go long.
Well, long before your association with Baywatch, you did have an association with open water. I understand you were a junior lifeguard?
I was. I grew up in rural Connecticut, in the northwest corner, in a small village called West Cornwall. We had a lake, and I was a junior lifeguard. And then I became an emergency medical technician also, which helped me when I was 22 or something, 23. Just because my twin sister was a firefighter and she recommended that I do that. So I was pretty prepared to play a lifeguard on Baywatch when I was 28 for 5 years.
Yeah, I would imagine when you went into the audition and said, I've done this before, this won't be anything new to me. That probably helped you out a lot.
I didn't tell them that as a junior lifeguard I never had saved anybody, but I did do the Heimlich maneuver on somebody when I was 18. So
that's good.
My CPR and the training came in handy. So far, I haven't used my 20 years of EMT training, though, and I'm hoping never to.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Baywatch a little bit. Obviously, you have to stay in shape for that role. I mean, most of every episode, you're on a beach in a swimsuit. So, were you doing a lot of swimming to stay in shape? Was it running? Tell us how you were able to be so fit on that show for 5 seasons.
Well, I actually didn't swim a lot for training when I was on that show because we would start shooting at 6 a.m. and then we would stop shooting when the sun went down. So it was less conducive to swimming in a pool. So I would go to the gym. I would get up around 3:30 and go work out, and then I would be on the set at 6 before the sun came up.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't make it easy to get a pool or even get
Yeah,
out in the ocean.
yeah. But luckily, I had a strong swim background. I mean, I had to learn because I didn't grow up around an ocean, I had to learn how to dive off a moving boat and how to run in the water with those cans and, look graceful, which many times I didn't. Because if you throw the can back at the wrong time, it'll jerk you back with the swells will jerk you back and it looks terrible. I did that several times on camera, unfortunately. You only get one try because then your hair's wet.
Ah,
You can
yeah.
only get one take with those rescues.
Yeah, I was going to say you just keep doing it over and over, but yeah, you explained it really well. You only got one shot to do it.
Yeah, not with the rescues. Yeah.
Well, how did you, if you weren't able to get a lot of swim training in during your time with Baywatch, when did you really start to get into wanting to be an open water swimmer?
You know, I when the year I guess it was I left Baywatch in '95. I think they still had they aired my shows. They dribbled them in '96. So I spent a year. I love doing Baywatch, and I spent a year doing other projects, but they weren't as fulfilling as Baywatch. I mean, Baywatch was so much fun. It was not brain surgery, but it was so fun. I love being outdoors, going to work and not having to wear heels and uncomfortable clothes. You just put on a red bathing suit. You didn't have to think about it. So I was invited to train and participate in the Hawaiian Ironman in 1997. And I jumped on that opportunity because I felt like I wanted to do something different. And that was my first introduction to open water because, of course, the Ironman has a 2.5 mile ocean swim, or the Hawaiian Ironman has an ocean swim. Other Ironmans have lake swims and such, but the Hawaiian Ironman had an ocean swim. So I started swimming more in the ocean, and I really loved it. I was still scared. I'm scared of the water at night. So all those swimmers who swim like more than I can probably only go maybe 5 more miles because that'll bring me into night swimming. I'm terrified of the ocean at night. I won't even put a foot in. Monsters and things. Just so I'll probably cap my long distance swimming with just maybe 15 miles or not much more. I won't be going the 30 miles that some of my swimming friends do.
Well, that's pretty extreme for somebody who's not, I guess, a competitive swimmer in the sense of, training specifically for this. I mean, 15 miles is a long way to go.
Well, I think what's really interesting about the swimming world is the age is so much older than those folks that you referred to that swim the 50 yards really fast. And I think I'm 48. I'll probably be right in the average age of the swimmers in this Key West swim, maybe even a little young. So a lot of the swimmers that participate in these long distance things, they have very full lives. They have kids and jobs. It's not their full-time job or anything. So one of the things about swimming, and with any sport, you have to train smart, not so much time you've got to put in the time, but you have to train smart. You can't overtrain, you can't injure yourself, and you have to be able to earn money so you can afford to fly to places to go to do the swims.
Absolutely. And it's a great way to stay in shape, too.
Yeah, it is. I love it. And I really was sad when I couldn't run anymore. But now I'm being really protective of my shoulders because I would be even sadder if I couldn't swim anymore. So that's why, I'm not going to be really fast in this swim because I don't do a lot of speed work. But I will finish if I eat right and keep myself hydrated. So it's not only the training, but you have to be smart.
Well, something that a lot of older swimmers kind of know about is juggling time to swim with your career. I mean, being an actress, you probably have to travel a lot. You have weird schedules, like you said with Baywatch, you're from sun up to sundown. I mean, how are you able to fit swim time in with all of your demands that you would have with your job?
Well, the last couple of months, me as an actress, I don't work 9 to 5, 360 days a year. So I haven't worked for the last couple months, and the same was for the Ironman. I just, I took off time, literally told my agents, I'm not going to go up for any acting jobs during this time because, well, triathlon, you've got to train in 3 sports, so it was more time consuming. But here, if I had gotten a job in the last couple months, I would have been able to work around. I just would have woken up. Actually, I wouldn't have been able to swim beforehand because you get goggle marks. I don't know if I have goggle marks now, but you get goggle marks for a few hours and they really show up on camera. So I would have had to swim at night, which is not my preference. I'm really an early bird. I don't, I like to do all my training in the morning. But I would have just worked around it. Yeah.
Or just had some really good makeup artists to cover up the goggle lines.
It doesn't work. I've tried. You can't. They're just deep indentations. And the cameras nowadays, high def and everything, that shows everything.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame.
Yeah.
Well, just to kind of touch on your acting career a little bit, I mean, everybody knows you from Baywatch. You spent some time on Melrose. And just on a personal note, something that was really exciting to me was seeing you on Mad Men, which is one of my favorite shows. I mean, you didn't have much time on it. You played Duck's wife, but I remember watching the episode and looking at the credits and seeing your name. It's like, that couldn't have been her. I mean, you look so unrecognizable, but it had to have kind of been fun to play on that show.
It was super fun. And, you know, even though, yeah, I played Duck Phillips' ex-wife. And, yeah, you know, when you audition for that show as a guest star, you don't know the role that you're going up for. In fact, even the audition that I had, they changed the names of the regular characters, so I didn't even know the storyline. And then when I went into the reading the week before, where the cast does the reading, that was when I first knew what I was going to be doing, whether it was 1 scene or 10 scenes or what. I had no idea. It turned out to be 1 scene. For better or worse, I was just grateful to be on it because it's such a great show. And even though I never even took my coat off in that scene, it was, I think, the 2nd season, and the show is called Maidenform because they named the shows after the ad campaigns that are mentioned that they're working on. Even though I never took my coat off, I had completely authentic 1960s clothes on, even down to my bullet bra and my stockings. I mean, everything was authentic. And so you gotta love that. And then the hairstyles, totally authentic. So it was kind of neat. It was fun. I mean, I wasn't born at that time, but I was born a couple years later, but it was cool. I felt like my mother.
Yeah, I was going to say, you probably understood what your mother had to go through at that time.
Yeah, oh my God. My mother, this is totally not swimming related, but my mother used to go to sleep with these huge curlers on, and as you can see, I don't do that. So hair's never been my forte. It's thank God I have other people to do it for me, except for when I do Skype interviews. You should feel very, very special that I am comfortable enough to do an interview with you without doing my hair.
Well, we get swimmers all the time. Sometimes they're just out of the pool with the goggle lines and the wet hair. So, you know, right. Comparatively, Alexandra, we're grateful to just have you, you know, in any shape.
I brushed it. I did brush it. I made an attempt.
Yeah, well, most swimmers don't do that. So thank you for that. Before we go, I want to also mention that you're a very vocal activist for animal rights and the environment. I would imagine being a celebrity helps your voice get heard a little louder.
Well, for example, on this swim, I'm vegan, so I've been training on vegan. I was vegetarian for 33 years, so all my Ironman training and all my other swims were done on a vegetarian diet, and I feel very fit and strong and energetic, and so I think just that can show people that you know, being vegan isn't for pasty, unhealthy, wimpy people. So that I get enough protein and things. So just, yeah, by example, I prefer to be an example rather than be a preacher. But I am lucky to be able to state what I think and have at least some people listen or, yeah.
Well, that's great. What are we going to be able to see you on the screen, either the small or big screen, and sometime soon?
Well, I'm doing another Lifetime film this summer, and then I'll be doing an independent film called Broken Dishes in the fall.
Well, good. We'll definitely have to keep our TVs tuned and look on our movie guides for Broken Dishes. Thank you so much, Alexandra, for joining us. Good luck with the Key West swim this weekend, and I'm sure we'll catch you around at another swim sometime in the future.
It's great talking to you. Thanks so much.
All right, my pleasure.
Bye.
All right, so that's Alexandra Paul joining us on the Morning Swim Show today. And we invite you to join the conversation about topics discussed on today's show. Just go to our article about this show on swimmingworld.com or our Facebook posting. You can also tweet your thoughts to us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is SwimmingWorld. That will do it for today's show. I'm Jeff Cummings. Thanks for watching.